Yeah.
All right, welcome, everyone. It's Warminster Township Board of Supervisors meeting for Thursday, November 16th. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we please stand for a moment of silence for all the civilians and military people working around the world? Thank you. All right, as I said before, welcome everyone. We have a short agenda tonight. I just want to, first announcement is we had an executive session. We were discussing personnel and litigation matters. And other than that, I hope everyone had a great, fantastic Halloween. And that's about all I have to say. So we'll pass it over to Kathy.
I have no comments tonight, Mr. Chair.
All right. Mr. McKee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a few announcements from Park and Rec. Holiday tree lighting will take place in the municipal building here out front on Monday, December the 4th at 5 p.m. And this is something long overdue that we should have been doing for a long time. The holiday tree lighting will feature musical stylings of the William Tennant High School Choir. The lighting of the tree, visits from Santa, and hot chocolate and cookies generously provided by the Warminster Rotary Club. The second annual holiday house decorating contest is in full swing. Visit warminsterpa.myrec.com to register your home, become an official judge. Park restrooms and park water access have been winterized. Portable toilets will remain at Warminster Community Park, Monroe Park, and Kemper Park. Please plan accordingly. The only other announcement I had, and this kind of slipped by, Mr. Chairman, was I want to send my condolences out to the Myers family. Just brought to my attention today that Michelle Myers passed away.
Oh, really?
No one knew.
I've known her for years.
She was on the park board for, I think,
Yeah.
32 or 33
Right.
years. Yeah, no one knew. Someone just called me today about it, but just want to send my condolences.
So sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
know.
from
Yeah,
the board
I
as
didn't
well.
either.
Yeah.
But that's all I had. Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mark. Janice?
Yeah, I'll save my, this weekend's an exciting weekend for a lot of fun things to do. I know that Archbishop Wood's having a craft fair. We're having a flea market at the VFW on Saturday morning, as well as a bingo that night. So if you're looking for things to do, there's a lot happening in Warminster this weekend, so.
No
Have some
special
fun.
comments from me tonight.
Oh, okay. You did? Okay. Yeah, Tom just let me know that the board had sent flowers to the Myers.
Oh, good. I'm
On
glad.
behalf of the
I'm
board and the
glad.
township.
Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, that was nice. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
I already said no. No comment.
No comments? All right. All right, I think this is the moment that a lot of people are here for. There is a mistake in the agenda. We are not swearing in a new police officer as of yet, but we are having two officers being promoted, and I'll ask Chief Donnelly to come to the podium. Floor is yours, Chief.
Good evening. Another great night
Good evening.
for the Warminster Police and Warminster Township in general. I will probably be showing my face every meeting between now and next March. With this promotion tonight, Brian Salguero graduates Police Academy the night before the next meeting, so he'll be sworn in that meeting. We're already in the process. Lieutenant DeLuca and Lieutenant McCole and Sergeant Byrne are already working on the two replacements that are coming in, one for Dave Bonaquisti, who retired last week, and for the next retirement, which is Corporal O'Neill, who is going to retire December 31st of this year, and assume his duties as the next district justice. So with that, I will leave it up to Ryan Burke and Dennis Murtha to be corporals. I'll read one, and then we'll have them sworn in, and I'll have the judge come up, Judge Finello come up and swear one in with his family, and then I'll read the next line. But Ryan Burke is a graduate of Council Rock High School. After Council Rock, he went to Penn State Abington for 2 years, where he enrolled in the ROTC program for the Army. After 2 years at Penn State, he went full enlisted in the Army and was an infantryman. He was stationed, or went to training at Fort Benning, and assigned to Easy Company, 101st Airborne Air Assault Division, Fort Campbell, Kentucky. In 2010, he was deployed to Afghanistan for a year to support Operation Enduring Freedom and conducting combat operations over there. After deployment and attending the Air Assault School, EMT School, and Non-Commissioned Academy, Officers Academy, he left his enrollment or his enlistment in 2012 as the rank of sergeant. During his tours, he received awards, including the Combat Infantry Badge, the Army Commendation for Medal with Valor Devices, and the Purple Heart for injuries received during combat. Upon leaving his military, he immediately enrolled in Temple University, majoring in criminal justice, and graduated in 2015 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in criminal justice. After graduation, he went to the Police Academy. We were lucky to hire him right out of the Police Academy and bring him on as Warminster Township. He currently serves in 1 squad, in B squad, but he'll be moving over to A squad to become the corporal there. He's also a member of the Central Bucks Special Response Team. He's a firearms instructor here, and he's a tactical team leader for the Central Bucks Special Response Team. He currently lives in Northampton with his wife Kelly and their 2 children. So with that, I'll bring the judge up and Ryan Burke and his guest, and we'll swear him in as corporal.
Impressive.
Yep.
That's just the highlights. Work with him.
Well, he sure makes pretty kids.
Yeah, he sure does.
We're ready to roll there, Your Honor.
All right. Good evening, everyone, and once again, another great pleasure, and it seems like a regular thing that I'm doing every couple of weeks, swearing in people, and love to do it. And I don't know whether this speaks to my longevity or what, but I swore these 2 guys in that are getting promoted tonight when they became cops, and have watched them grow, and have been with them in the court when they've come in there in their business, and they've been always very respectful and very very prepared, and have done their due diligence, and have accepted what the court handed down. So I wish them well. And the other thing that I wanted to say, that I noticed there's a lot of children in here tonight. Okay, there was like a din before the meeting started, and a little bit during the meeting. It almost reminds me of Nativity Church at the 10 o'clock mass, with all the kids, and that's a good thing, because I know that these guys have the interest of the young children at hand. They'll try and keep the township safe the best they can, and they have a good motivation for making it home safely each night, and I wish that for them, for all time. So, you want to tell us who's up here with you? This little one, and
Sure. This is my daughter Brindley, and this is my son Chase.
okay. And Chase is a Council Rock North guy too, or South. Excuse me. I beg your pardon. Anyway, all right. So, Corporal Designee Burke, are you prepared to take the oath of office?
Yes, Your Honor.
The left hand on the Bible. Raise your right hand. And repeat after me. I, Ryan Burke,
I, Ryan Burke,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
that I will support, obey, and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of the Commonwealth,
and I will discharge
and I will discharge
the duties of corporal
the duties of corporal
in Warminster Township,
in Warminster Township,
Bucks County,
Bucks County,
with fidelity.
with fidelity.
I also solemnly swear
I also solemnly swear
that I will uphold, obey, and enforce
that I will uphold, obey, and enforce
the laws of Pennsylvania
the laws of Pennsylvania
without consideration
without consideration
to a person's race,
to a person's race,
color,
color,
sex,
sex,
religious creed,
religious creed,
sexual orientation,
sexual
age,
orientation, age,
national origin,
national origin,
ancestry,
ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Corporal. Brindley's left the building.
Congratulations, richly deserved, I see.
I'll stay there.
Beautiful family.
A real Superman.
Okay. All right, I have another fine officer that I wish you could write volumes on these guys, just absolute volumes, even with the short time they've been here. But Dennis Murtha. Dennis is a Cardinal Doherty graduate from 2002. He attended Drexel University for mechanical engineering, and before joining the Philadelphia Police Department in February 2006. He was assigned to the 39th Police District and was there for 11 years before becoming a police officer in Warminster. In Philadelphia, he was selected for rifle training, CIT training, bike training, radio detection training, narcotics enforcement training. Was detailed to the tactical team in 5 Squad in 2014 in the 39th District, and selected to go to the district level narcotics enforcement team in 2015 in the city of Philadelphia. When he came to Warminster in September of 2016, he became a crime scene investigator here. He attended Top Gun Narcotics School in 2017. He was selected to be an FTO training officer, later training 3 current officers in Warminster Township, and then later joined the Central Bucks County Special Response Team, this time as a negotiator, a hostage negotiator, which he's extremely good at. He's been our acting corporal in C Squad since the departure of Carol Battistini and the promotion of Kevin McLaughlin. In 2011, he married his wife Laura, and he has a plethora of children in attendance here. I think him and Brian Allen are going to keep the Catholic schools fully stocked for the next so many years. So with that, I will bring Dennis Murtha up and his gang, and we can swear him in.
Chief, Allen and Murtha both have to catch up to Baxter.
Yeah,
You know?
Baxter.
Okay. Anyway, okay. Again, it's my pleasure to swear in Corporal Designee Murtha, and I've known him for a long time. And the chief gave you all his qualifications and all that stuff, so there's nothing really further to be said, except I do want him to introduce the boss. And the reason I know she's the boss is because all the kids that are here are very well behaved in the back. So,
So this is my wife Laura and my youngest son Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, okay. All right. So, Mrs. Murtha, can you do that? Yep. I know you're probably good at multitasking. So. All right, Corporal Designee Murtha, are you ready to take the oath of office?
I am.
Left hand on the Bible and raise your right hand. Okay, and repeat after me. I, Dennis Murtha,
I, Dennis Murtha,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend
I shall support, obey, and
the
defend
Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United
the
States
Constitution of this Commonwealth.
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth.
I will faithfully discharge
I will faithfully
the
discharge
duties of corporal
the duties of corporal
in Warminster Township,
in Warminster Township,
Bucks County, with fidelity.
Bucks County with fidelity.
I also solemnly swear
I also solemnly swear
that I will uphold, obey, and enforce
to uphold, obey, and enforce
the laws of Pennsylvania
the laws of Pennsylvania
without consideration to a person's race,
without consideration to a person's race,
color, sex, religious creed,
color, sex, or religious creed,
sexual orientation, age,
sexual orientation, age,
national origin, ancestry,
national origin, ancestry,
handicap, or disability.
handicap, or disability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Corporal.
Congratulations, very well deserved. Congratulations, thank you.
Okay, that's it for my bi-weekly segment. I'll just wait for the next rush and say goodnight and wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and thank you. Thank you, Chief. And thank you, Corporal Murphy and Corporal Burke, for letting me swear you in.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. And anything else to add, Jim? Or are we good?
I'll see you on the 14th with Brian Salguero
You
as he
bet.
graduates.
Okay, we're going to take a short recess for photographs with the families. So Short recess, there we go.
Where's the wizard? Ed? Okay, we got it.
We're good? Okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
You guys have to come back up again.
Yeah, you're gonna have to do it again. I hope you remember it. All right, so now there's no land use matters tonight, and we'll move on to public comment.
Hi, I'm Huston Ryan,
Hello.
here to bother you again. So, I maybe wasn't as good, I'm not that great at public speaking, so I found something online to hand out to you guys to kind of explain where I'm coming from with road design and people speeding up and down on Henry Ave and maybe throughout the township. So, here you go.
Thank you.
I found a lot of it from it's a nonprofit. It's called Strong Towns. In addition to advocating for safe streets, they also talk about productive land use and recommend a few different companies that the township could use to analyze their land use by acreage, basically. So like, is each new development or current development producing enough revenue to cover themselves, or are they a net loser? I did hear before that we recently raised taxes. This might
Not
be-
recently.
Not recently?
Nope.
Okay, well, whatever.
No, we have not raised, we raised taxes the first year because we were $2.5 million in debt. And then the second year, we raised the fire tax to cover what we thought was going to be additional needs for the fire companies. But no, we have not raised taxes since 2021, and that was just, I think, a small $500,000 or something in the fire tax. Other than that, we have not raised taxes since 2020 because we had to plug a $2.5 million deficit that we inherited,
Okay,
okay?
Yeah, the
But-
school board.
And by the way, just one last thing on this.
yeah.
The land use, the productive land use,
Yeah.
that should have been something that people were thinking of since 1960.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing left now to develop.
Nothing left to develop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the land is all, this is developed out now. So, that's just another comment. But other than that, floor is yours.
Yeah, well,
The-
that's.
The school taxes were what raised, so you were right, the taxes did go up, but it was the school tax that went up.
Okay, I'm just,
No, it's okay.
Here
Go
to-
ahead, you're fine.
hand out the paper, and they have a free course online. I think it will take like an hour of your time if you're interested. I think it's really informative. I also put a few other resources on there. I think it's a few documents on like how to make a street safe for everyone involved in the street. Yeah,
Thank you.
Awesome, great.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Pat, you're walking very well tonight.
I'm feeling good today.
Good.
Bring the walker.
Look, you're
Good.
even sparkling.
Yeah.
Hi, Pat Boyle, Centennial Station, 6310 Centennial Station. On Election Day, a lot of people approached me about the zoning board meeting on the 13th, and they want to know if it's going to be moved to a different venue because they don't believe this room's big enough for it.
We believe this room is big enough. This
Okay.
room will hold 100 people.
Okay, because that's what they were
And there's going to be
concerned
multiple, yes, we spoke with the solicitor.
about. Okay,
Meeting will be here, and then there'll be other meetings. Because
More than one.
100 people is,
Right.
is plenty for that hearing.
Right.
And we hear everyone, by the way.
oh, yeah, I know,
So,
they
yeah.
just want answers as to what's going in there, because nobody seems to know, and rumors are flying around
You're
like
speaking
crazy.
about the
The hospital.
hospital,
Mhm.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We're well aware of what's
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, I
with
know
the
that,
Yeah.
but, yeah, so I keep getting calls about a change of venue, so I said I'd ask. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
Thank
as of
you.
right now, honestly, Pat, I mean, we think that there's enough room in here,
Okay.
because it's going to be more than one meeting, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Anyone else? All right, let's move on. Consent agenda, which is pretty small tonight. Consider authorization of municipal police cooperation agreement for November 22nd, 2023. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second, okay. Tom, you want to give a little explanation, or the chief? No? Yes?
I don't. But thank you for the opportunity.
He was on his way down anyway.
All right, I'm back. That MOU is basically for a DUI task force set up by the county by Matt Weintraub and Pennsylvania Drug Task Force, or DUI Task Force. It includes Warrington, Richland, us, and basically run, and Lower South, Upper South, Benton Salem. There's a couple of, Warwick, I believe, is in there. And it basically covers the street road corridor on the night of Thanksgiving, anywhere between 6 o'clock at night and 3 in the morning. Overtime's all paid for by PA Task Force, DUI Task Force, and all that. They organize, 2 groups organize, one up here, one down there, and they just patrol up and down Street Road all night long. So Uber, Lyft, do anything you want to do except to drive DUI.
Absolutely.
All right.
Good advice. Chief,
That's
is that Thanksgiving Eve and Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
or-
No, it's just Thanksgiving Eve.
Thanksgiving,
That's
okay.
just Thanksgiving Eve.
All right.
One of the
Thanksgiving
biggest
Eve.
drinking nights of the
Yeah,
year.
it's
Yes,
the biggest
it
party.
is actually the
It is.
biggest
The up-and-coming one
revenue night
is
for bars.
Halloween, the Saturday before Halloween.
Oh, no
All the
kidding.
parties,
Oh,
yeah, It's
really?
coming on fast.
Wow,
That's
wow.
even more fun because everybody's dressed up.
Yeah. Well, great advice, thank you.
The chief's not looking for any overnight guests
No.
Thanksgiving Eve, right, chief?
I don't think,
Yeah, have you seen where they keep them? That's pretty.
all right, let's move on to the finance report. Oh, wait,
You
wait,
didn't
whoa,
vote.
whoa, we have to vote.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so any other comments from the public? Any from the board? Okay, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Now we go to the finance report. Mr. McKee?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion. I'll ask for a second that we approve the bill list dated November 16, 2023, in the amount of $6,479,221.91. And that's a huge number, and I think we're going to cover that after we
Yes.
Open for
Is there a
discussion. So I'll ask
motion?
for a second.
Or is there a second?
Second.
All right. That is a huge number. John, would you care to explain that to everyone?
I would love to explain that.
Thank you, John.
He sounds like my cousin Vinny.
Yeah, right, yeah.
The biggest part of that number, there's a $5 million transfer in there that is coming from some extra money that's in the GOF fund, the debt service, and what was
Park and Rec.
Park and Rec.
Parks and Rec, yeah.
We're just transferring money over into that Univest account that's making 5.5%. It's the high yield money market. So it's just getting the money out of those accounts over to where we can actually earn something on.
Where it can earn some money, and that cash is liquid, correct?
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Excellent.
And it just caught my eye, and I'm sure the folks at home, $6 million in bills in 2
Right.
weeks, what happened?
Tons of
Right.
interest, tons of interest, right, John?
Yeah.
Right, so it's
Exactly.
interest bearing.
Yes. Thank you. for the
Thank you, John, for the
Thanks, John.
explanation.
Any questions or comments from the board? From the public?
I said yes.
Yeah.
We didn't have extra money before to invest, so this is exciting.
Yes, that's correct. How are we doing on that anyway?
Excellent.
Good. Glad to hear it.
It's going to be, we're actually going to be up to $15 million worth of actual investment. The last one, we made over $50,000 in interest last month, so this is just going to keep compounding and making more. And then the money, with the interest, we're making money on the interest that we already earned. So it's just going to
Excellent.
compound and get better as time goes on.
It
Yep.
just gets better and better.
Yep.
Thank you,
It's
John.
always good news, John. All right, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John. No unfinished business. New business, review the 2024 proposed budget and consider authorization to advertise. And Mr. Ramey, we will ask you to step up again. The floor is yours.
I will try to be as brief as possible, but I do have a couple intermissions planned in here because it's going to take a little bit of time, but
Gee, thanks.
no problem. I'm just kidding. This is actually, it's going to be a really good presentation, I hope. Brief, but all good news. So I'm
what
going
we
to
like
get
to
started.
hear.
I'm going to get started with a couple thank yous from all the department heads, Tom, Lisa, Jill, everyone. There's a lot of time goes into this. We look at line item by line item. I am going to give a special thanks to Joe Dalton. I'm glad he's stuck around. He had to put together a budget this year with no previous numbers. The first thing I do is I give the department heads all the history by line item with an average as a starting point of what the expense line should be. And since this is the first year we're budgeting for the fire fund, Joe had nothing to go off of. So he had to do his research and actually put together numbers. So thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
Thanks, John.
And to get things started, we're going to go right into the heart of it and say there is no tax increase proposed for 2024.
Yes.
Very good.
So
Very
I
good.
wish I
Good
didn't
news.
like to drop, but I guess I'll have to stick around for a couple more slides.
Couple more, and then you can drop the mic.
Yep. So right now, the township currently has 24.06 tax mills. Here's how it's allocated through the funds. There's no proposed changes to the allocation, just as there's no proposed increase. Here's a quick calculation of what a tax bill will look like with an assessed value of $26,500. This is kind of like the average of what most houses in Warminster are at. I do got to stress that the taxes are based off of the assessed value, not the market value. So when you see $26,500, it's not what your house is actually worth. Property assessments are done by the county and are available on their website. The reason the assessed value is so below market is there hasn't been a reassessment since 1972.
Exactly.
We're one
This
of the
is
few
our biggest
counties that
complaint.
has not done any kind of
Right.
reassessment, so that's something that if we could push the county to get done would actually help the township a lot.
Not just our township, all the townships in Bucks County.
Yes. So obviously not everyone has an assessed value of exactly $26,500. To make the calculation on your individual property, all you need to do is take the assessed value from the county, divide it by 1,000, and times it by the township's millage rate of 24.06.
So what you're saying is for $638 a year for an average assessed value of $26,000, $26,500, we provide all these services.
Oh, we're going to get into this.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Shocking.
So here's a breakdown of all the real estate taxes someone would have to pay on that $26,500. You can see the county, $674. We got the $638 for the township, and the $4,228 for the school district. As we talked about earlier, the school districts are the ones that are getting most of your real estate tax money. It is an advantage of living in a good school district. So here are the services that you get. The county, you have the courts. I'm sure Chris O'Neill absolutely loves seeing that. One of the big ones, especially on the county, is the human services part of it. There's a lot of programs the county offers that people should be aware of. If you're in any kind of need, that's a great place to start.
Okay.
This is where I really like to focus in, is the township tax. Again, for the $638 a year or $53 a month, you get a police department. You get fire, ambulance, public works, the library, most importantly, the finance department, administration, and all the parks that we have. And then moving on to the schools, you get the schools, the transportation, staffing, teachers. The individual support services, again, that's a very important part that the schools provide. Especially, my wife's a special ed teacher, so that's something that's really important that the schools do though. Okay, so moving into the meat of the budget. The one thing I wanted to do is take a look back at where we are in 2023 so that we can move forward in 2024. Skip ahead. So here you can see we're estimating that 2023 the total revenues and expenses along with fund balance. One of the big things included in this almost $18.5 million for 2023, I will, at the next meeting, proposing a budget amendment for this current year to transfer $3 million from the general fund over to the capital so we can keep going with the projects that we've been working for. We're going to take a look back and look at what we're going forward in the future. Some of the other revenues, really important to say, for 2024, you can see the revenues match the expenses. We have a balanced budget in 2024.
Yeah, good.
John?
Yes.
Excuse me. This is a general fund slide, right?
Yes, this is only
So
the
the budget
general fund.
amendment that we would ask the board to approve at the next meeting is for the general fund.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Yep. Included in the general fund expenses for next year is a police department with 43 sworn officers. That includes, well, after the next meeting, we'll have 5 new ones sworn in this year and keeping that level of police officers going forward. 4 open positions. I'm sure everyone's going to like this one. We're looking to staff the front desk. So we'll have a receptionist going forward.
All right.
Yeah, that question was brought to us last meeting, and we did explain that there's 2 part-timers up there providing our services now, and now we're going to have a full-time.
It will be an actual township employee.
Good.
A new public works employee. That'll be the first public works employee, I believe, in almost 10 years. A police admin position and a planning director. So we'll have someone over at the L&I department overseeing the department full-time over there.
That's sorely needed.
Yes.
Very needed.
Should keep you happy, right?
Yes. Yes, it's
I know,
definitely needed.
it is needed, yes.
Or
Because-
that could be your new job.
Because that department is remote from here, and and there's been a
Right.
disconnect there for years.
Yes, there has been.
And it's no fault of the administration, it's just a remote office, it's a problem. So that, hopefully that'll solve the problem.
And also included in that 17 million is an extra $300,000 going to the MMO.
For 2020,
For 2024.
Four.
So since we switched over to the smoothing method, and during that presentation, we talked about making extra payments to
Right.
try and get it back to the market value of assets. So all of this is, I spoke to our consultants, and they actually agreed that we should take the extra money and put that into the police pension for 2 reasons. The first one, that the non-uniform pension plan is closed to new employees. So that would naturally start getting more and more funded. And we are more funded in the non-uniform than we are the police pension. So it's trying to get that more under control.
Right.
So that's
So that was another question that I withheld the information from because I knew this presentation was coming. So we are going to add an additional
Above the.
$300,000 above the minimum, so it'll be fairly close to the market value contribution.
We'll get there a lot faster.
That's right.
Do you
Okay.
know-
Police.
For the
For
police.
the police, yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Ken. So based on what we're doing here, how long would it take us to get back to where we should be?
So the difference between the smoothing method and the market value of assets was 900,000.
Right.
So this is taking 1/3 of it in year one. We're having a much better year so far this year. As of today, we're probably up about 10% in market. So we're knocking it from two directions of contributing more money and hopefully the market does better.
Okay.
Yeah, well,
I know you can't give it.
based on the inflation rate going down and the unemployment rate being as low as it is, and the economy humming along without a recession so far, I think we're doing all right. That's right, knock on wood.
Yeah.
And really important thing to look at is also what the fund balance is at the end of the year. Our goal is always at least 3 months of expenses, mainly because we don't get a lot of revenue in January, February, and March. There's been years where the township had to take a TAN, a tax anticipation note.
Right.
This keeps enough money in our accounts that we don't have to borrow money for that short period of time.
And we haven't taken the tan in a couple of years, have we?
We did in 21. So this is 22 and 23, we have not.
Right.
So for the last 2 years, we haven't needed to take a tax anticipation note and pay the interest on that,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Okay, I'm gonna just jumping into the numbers real quick on, again, this is all general fund of what makes up the revenue. The real estate taxes, that makes up 30% of the general fund revenue, followed by the Act 511 taxes. That's gonna be the earned income tax, the local services tax, the business privilege tax, mercantile, and transfer tax. So between those two taxes, it's 80% of our general fund budget comes from those two groups. You can see what makes up the rest of it. And then most importantly on this slide, I'd like everyone to just take a look at the number down the bottom again of the 17 million. It matches the same number on the expense side. So again, balanced budget with the revenues matching.
With no tax increase.
With no tax increase.
Very good.
Here, I'd just like to talk about the top number, the 73% for public safety. It doesn't just include the police. In that number is the L&I and emergency management. The ambulance and fire, they're in their own separate fund. So besides the 73% here, we do actually put more money towards public safety. And even in the general fund alone, though, the 73%, that is showing a pretty high commitment to public safety, which I think this board is committed to and the community expects. So with that, talking about that $3 million transfer over to capital, I want to jump over to capital right away. So here you can see I'm going to focus on the revenues on this one because we're going to go into the expenses later on. With the $3 million transfer, we're only contributing an extra, there's another $391,000. That's why that $3 million is so important. If you take that $3 million out, you're going to have a lower ending fund balance in this year, and then you can see how that transfers over to the following years. So there is no steady contribution to capital except for a transfer from the GOF fund. So putting this money will allow us to keep doing the projects that we're doing. In 2024, the $2 million, that's really made up of a large grant of $1.7 million from RACP that we've been trying to actually collect for several years. I think it's been 2 years. There were some issues with the state having to issue bonds, but we're really hoping that that money comes in next year so that, again, we could keep the funding level to keep our projects moving along.
That wasn't the only issue, John, you know that, but we'll leave that go.
Yeah, we're gonna let that go. Okay, moving along. So now we're gonna jump into the one business type fund that we have, that's the GOF fund. We're gonna see this in a lot of funds where the expenses are greater than the revenues. The main reason is a lot of our funds are actually, they have enough fund balance, they're paying for their own capital from their reserves. All the funds on an operational basis, they are balanced, and if anything would have an increase to fund balance if it wasn't for the additional capital that we're putting in. So the GOF fund alone, there's $1.6 million worth of projects planned. So without that 1.6, they actually are expecting a profit of 500,000, and that's after transferring money to capital and the general fund. And it's really important to note that the golf fund is a business type fund, so we have to look at it as an investment as if it was any other company. And the profits or dividends that if you invested go back to the shareholder. Well, the township's the only shareholder, so it's a good thing that we're able to take those profits and put them towards capital to keep the projects going, and put them to the general fund to keep that balance.
That's always been the idea, that the golf course would generate a mill of taxes back to the general fund to ease some of the burden here.
It's actually doing more than that now.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
And with the improvements that we're going to be doing and be able to host weddings there and all, that's going to bring a ton more money in for the fund.
And being able to put some
Yes,
back in the
all
general
good.
is good.
Yep.
So, yeah, and it's good that we're going to, unlike a lot of venture capital operations where they just bleed a company dry, we're actually going to invest in this golf course, in the clubhouse, and a couple other things to make it even more attractive for a venue.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's great.
So I was going to run through some of the other funds. We budget for 7 special revenue funds. Just running down these real quick, the ambulance fund, the only expense we have there is we cut a check to the ambulance company. Over time, with assessments going up, so we're up to $64,000 in tax revenue. We give them $60,000. We do have a little bit of a fund balance there, but most of the money goes straight to the ambulance company. The fire fund, you can see a big expense, but this has the 3 new firefighters. And besides the payroll and benefits that go along with hiring 3, there's also operational costs. They're going to need office supplies. They're going to need radios. There's outfitting, uniforms, education, all those other things that are above and beyond just the salary portion of hiring employees.
Just outfitting. What does it cost to outfit a fireman, Joe?
It's about $6,000 for the turnout gear
$6,000 for the turnout
per
gear.
firefighter.
Right.
Radio's about $7,000. I think the price is.
Priced at 8.
Yeah, so it's about $8,000 for a portable radio.
$8,000 for a radio?
Wow.
Yes.
CBA.
Right.
The taxiware, that costs $8,000 just for that piece of equipment.
Per person, 8,000
Per person.
for the scuba, or not scuba, SCBA?
The fire departments themselves will be using those costs too.
There's only one letter missing out of the ones. Yeah, thanks, Joe. Yeah, well, SCBA was what I wanted to say, but, I put a U in there as if we were going deep sea diving. Yeah. No, so it costs quite a lot to outfit one firefighter, and that's what's being paid there.
And that's what the usage of fund balance was for.
Right,
was to save
exactly.
and get
And that's
them
what we had
up and
raised
running.
at the mill to cover that.
Right.
I know that was some questions that were posed a couple of years ago, saying, oh, we have all this money in the fire fund, but we knew that eventually we were going to need to outfit firefighters, and that covered it.
And
So
it goes quick.
it does go quick. As you can see, we'll have a much less fund balance at the end. So, well done.
Again, the library and Parks and Rec Fund, the same thing would happen if we didn't put the capital dollar amounts into the expenses. Operationally, they are balanced and would be showing a profit, but again, since they have the fund balance, they can actually afford to pay for their own improvements. And we're going to go into all these improvements.
John, is there an extra 4 in that revenue list?
Oh,
Oh, yes.
Parks and Rec?
I swear I looked at this, it's like 1,000 times. And
I bet you did.
so that was a good eye.
So is the 4 what we take out or the 1? It should be
I'm going to say
4.
it's the 4. I know it's like the Price is Right, which one do you move and it gets closer, but.
We'll just call it $1,414,000.
Okay.
The last 3, the sanitation fund, again, the expenses are higher than the revenues, but when the contract was signed with Mascaro, and even in the fee was determined, the $440 per household, it was looking at the extensions also. So we just did agree to, I think it was a 2-year extension.
2-year extension.
We should not have to raise the fee for the remainder of this contract. So we will be starting to use that fund balance down to balance everything. The higher fee that we're paying the Mascaro is in the budget under the expenses.
Right. I'd like to stop you right there for 1 second. I just want to let anyone that's listening and the residents know that they're in for a shock because of the exorbitant rates that happened in the new contracts all across the board. No matter what contractor you pick, there's going to be a huge increase in sanitation fees.
Yeah, and Northampton just went through it. It was a very large increase.
Yeah.
But for 2024,
There's none.
There's
Right.
none for
the
us.
trash fees will be the same, the ones you
Right.
get on your tax bill.
Yeah, I'm just preparing
As this-
everybody for 2 years from now, I guess it is,
Future.
right? Yeah. Just so we know that nothing goes down.
Yep.
Thanks for clarifying that, Tom.
Thank you.
Otherwise, people will be freaking out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whoever's listening.
Real quick, the Highway 8 fund, that's more of an emergency fund for any kind of accidents to take out a traffic signal. And we have to put money out until we get reimbursement from insurance. So we do have to keep some money on the side. There's some maintenance, that's the $20,000, but it's really funded by impact fees from developers. That's the only revenue that comes in. So if nothing goes in, we're not sure what's going to be available. The Highway 8 fund, this is a restricted money from the state that needs to be used for very specific purposes. It's pretty much anything that goes on the roads. So it's going to be the salt, any kind of vehicles for public works. And we need to keep a fund balance because we've been lucky, Andrew's going to kill me for this, we haven't plowed in 2 years. We have not had a snow event.
We've noticed.
So we've actually been able to save some of this money, which has been great. And we're fully loaded with salt right now, but it'll go quick if we have a bad winter.
Right.
I like to say it's not a rainy day fund, it's a snowy day fund. So we have to save everything we can in there.
Right.
And that's the last joke that I will have. The main expenses are, we're finally getting around to buying 2 vehicles. Like I said, we could use this to buy public works vehicles. We're going to buy a very large dump truck that's going to take them a year for us to get delivered. And then another dump truck that could be used for smaller plowing with a salt spreader on the back of it.
So we're buying one triaxle and one smaller?
Yes,
Okay. And they'll both be equipped for plowing?
yes, exactly.
Excellent.
Okay, and then the last fund we budget for is the debt service fund. Again, we can see the expenses exceed the revenues. When the sale of the storm sewer happened, we transferred $2 million into the debt service to cover, we knew that this was going to happen where the expenses would exceed the revenues. So by transferring that $2 million, we actually are going to be able to pay off the current debt service with no tax millage increase. And hopefully by investing this money, we'll have some interest that increase the fund balance. So going forward, if we did have another borrowing, we'd still be able to keep going without any kind of tax increase.
Can you repeat that one more time for anybody that's out there that had a question about debt service,
We
that
can-
didn't understand
we can-
corporate municipal finance and debt?
With our current fund balance, we can pay off the debt without a tax increase.
Excellent.
As simple as it gets.
And,
Thank you.
and we have a bond rating now,
Yes.
so it'll be much easier to
And
acquire any type of loans.
And with our fund balances and what we're doing with the pension, the next time if we do borrow, I think our bond rating is going to go up quite a bit.
It's good to hear.
So at the end of 2023, we're going to have an outstanding balance of just under $12.5 million. Over the life of the loan through 2041, we average about $755,000 in principal payments. I did a quick research of what other municipalities in the area have for debt. Warminster Township has $23 million in debt, and Northampton has $62 million in debt. So I'll take the 12.5.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that were all the funds that we budget for. The one thing I want to do is actually take a look back at everything since we talked about capital so much, let's take a look back at what we've done in the last 3 years. So in 2021, we spent almost $8.6 million. Again, this is coming out of COVID, so it was very limited of what we were working on. It is the year we purchased Shenandoah Woods. We were in the middle of the community park project. We did do some traffic light upgrades and road improvements. That was the year we did 21 miles in 1 year. You're going to see these 4 things on the next 3 years of slides because these are ongoing projects that we do year after year. And we'll probably see Shenandoah Woods for the next 10 years because it's going to be a project that we're constantly working on. In 2024, we spent another $4.4 million on projects. We got back into purchasing police vehicles that year. The roadways, we did 6.38 miles. We did curb ramp upgrades. We did 123 of them, which is more than twice of any other year that we did. So we were trying to catch up on things that we didn't do the curb ramps when we did the paving. Again, the traffic light upgrades. And so far this year, so it's just the year to date, we spent over $3.4 million. Again, the police vehicles, we did another 8.1 road paving, upgraded 54 curb ramps, the traffic lights, the Ben Wilson Center. So the good news about that is they have their HVAC system is up and running. We're expecting the generator to be delivered next week.
I think it was just delivered, wasn't it?
Yes, isn't that what Tom said?
Yeah.
That is what Tom said.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I guess it's
I think the install is next week.
Oh, the install's
Delivered, though,
next
it's on premises.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're waiting for Pico to change some of the gas meters and stuff like that. So that project's moving along. The police renovations, we were able to upgrade the roll call room. The library renovations, according to Peter, everything's going great over there.
Beautiful.
I tried
Yeah,
to
he's
sneak
thrilled.
into, and they have that thing locked down so you can't get into the construction zone, which is a good thing with
No
kids running
dust.
around.
There's absolutely no dust in the library itself where the books are.
And the golf course HVAC system. The banquet room would get up to almost 90 degrees in the summer. I was over there in the middle of summer. It was almost cold in there, so that's working great. So, again, that's an investment that helps us make more money, that we can have things in the summertime and banquets.
So would it be fair to say that in the last 4 years, we've been reinvesting in the township?
Well, let me give you a summary.
Okay, that would be great.
So-
Just so happens. Well,
Just
thank
so
you, John.
happens. So far, the total investment in the Shenandoah Woods is $3.2 million. That was the removal of the houses, the removal of the slabs, all the engineering and all the constant security that we have to have over there. The Warminster Community Park project was almost a $5 million project. That's actually finally wrapped up and good to go. The road improvements of $5.8 million. In case you weren't doing the math, that was 35.48 miles worth of roads. And ramp upgrades, it was 177 ramps. Now, these are just four of the big ones that we did over. We did do a lot of other things, but in total, over 3 years, we did over $16 million worth of capital projects.
And improvements to the township for the residents.
Yes.
Great, excellent. That's what the plan
That
was.
is awesome, and thank you for that
Yes,
wonderful news.
now some of that money was ARPA money as well,
Yeah.
like the Ben Wilson Center and, the Warner Parks, that part of the community park as well. But
We're taking that money and
we're still taking that money and reinvesting it in the community.
Yes.
And that's what this board always intended to do.
That's right.
So now that we looked back, we'll look at in the future. So next year, what we got going on, the library, we're going to finish up the renovations that are going on, and the big thing after that's done is to replace the carpet. So it didn't make sense to replace the carpet before you do construction, so that's the big one they got going. The Parks and Rec, they're looking at replacing the large playground at the community park. That's a $350,000 playground that we're looking at.
I
And then
know.
Winter Park lighting, that's another $500,000. I think that's going to be very good for all the sports and everything that's used over there.
Yep.
The golf course, like I said, they have 1.6 million. Ken, you already gave that away. A lot of it's going.
Sorry to steal your thunder.
A lot of it's
Yes.
going to the clubhouse to expand that so that they can have bigger events.
Yes.
Another big one they have is the one hole that's falling into the lake, or the pond. I have to call them ponds.
What hole was that?
Four.
4. Yeah, the spillway needs some serious renovations, or actually repairs.
And the gas pump replacement, that's something I think we've bid 3 times now, that we're finally going to move forward with that project. It's very important because when those gas pumps go down, that's where our police get their gas from, and all the fire trucks for both Ivyland, Hartsville, Warminster. So we got to get them up and running.
Yeah, our public works fuels there too.
Yeah.
So can we move that hole on the other side of the pond so it's closer? That is a tough hole.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I was just there today.
Tough hole.
Again, we have roadway improvements of another 5.5 miles scheduled for next
That's
year.
great.
So doing the math, that's a total of 41 miles worth of roads in 4 years. Talk to Andrew. We have about 100 centerline miles, as he calls it. So it's not going side to side, but right down the middle. That's 41% of all township roads are getting paved in a 4-year
In the
period.
last
That's
4 years.
amazing.
That
Very
is
impressive.
amazing.
I bet if you compare that to other townships, that's not. Ah, that's awesome.
Yep.
I'm gonna do the happy dance. No, you don't want to see me do that.
Ramp upgrades, we're gonna do another 55 ramps. That puts the total up to 232 over a 4-year period.
Another unfunded mandate.
Yep.
Yeah, they're all mandated. Yeah.
The Ben Wilson Center, after the current project's done, the one thing we're looking at is maybe replacing the front door. Talking to Larry, it's probably the one thing that's never been replaced over there.
Okay.
Security cameras for all of our buildings and also in the park. Not just for security purposes, but also to try and, it's safety and to try and cut down on some vandalism over in the park.
Yes.
And again, we talked about the 2 public works vehicles.
Well, I want people to know that the Ben Wilson Center isn't just an activity center, but we use that for emergencies
And that was
services
the main
too.
purpose of
And
getting that generator over there.
yeah,
Right.
Can we go back to 23?
23?
Okay. Did you mention the police vehicles?
Yes, there was police vehicles.
Thank you.
Okay, and finally.
Just wanted to make sure you got that, John.
And just to rub it in a little bit, again, we are proposing a no tax increase for the 2024 budget.
That's fantastic.
All folks at home,
So
clap.
all of that for $638 a year, average.
Exactly.
Well
Can't beat
done.
that.
You know what, John? Congratulations to you and your staff, and to everyone, all the staff in Warminster, because one thing that I see here now, that when I first got here was non-existent, was that every department now has grabbed an oar and rowing in the same direction. And they're not, there's no silos and there's no moats around the silo. And hats off to the entire staff of the township.
yep. They're great.
Uh,
Especially John.
You're up, Tom.
The line items themselves, what we generically refer to as the budget, will be available starting tomorrow to the public. It'll be here, and it will be at the library, and of course, we have copies for the board.
And it'll be online, correct?
Yes.
We posted, yes.
We're gonna put the presentation on and the,
And the actual budget.
right, the budget does that. Now, having said that, I'm stealing John's thunder, requested the Board of Supervisors authorize the advertisement of the budget as presented.
So moved.
Second,
All right, any questions?
just a comment. In 4 years, where we went from facing bankruptcy to having roads all torn up, to have Parks and Rec need a lot of the work, our Ben Wilson, they need a lot of work. A lot of things in the township need a lot of work. And by us stopping the spending and tightening our waist belts, and taking it one step at a time and hiring the right management for each department. Like you, John, like best financial director we have ever had in Warminster, and I've been attending these meetings for 40-some years. So I can tell you, every single department head that we have, Tom, best manager, Flaggers, Craig, I could go all the way down the line. I don't want to miss anybody. All of our board, we're all doing a phenomenal job, and we should give ourselves a big hand.
Yay.
Because, yay! All right.
John, I think you and Tom should shake them down January the 1st.
Well, you get what you pay for,
Yeah.
right?
amendment.
Yeah, right. But just make sure it's after the 1st, will you? Right.
Yeah, well, you get what you pay for, that's all I say. You know, we have, like I said, I can't say enough about the staff, the management that we've put in here in place. And, you know, hats off, like Kathy said, to Jessica and Andrew, Chief Donnelly, who am I missing?
Joe Velton,
Joe Velton, yes, who's,
LAU.
Peter,
Everyone.
you know, Joe, as you said, hats off to Joe as well, because he had nothing to work with, and he created a viable budget that's workable. I mean, I know we had a lot of conversations and a lot of meetings about this for years, and And well done, Joe. Nice job. So let's everyone keep up the good work, and I'm thrilled. I'm really proud of the group that we have here. Considering that I lost half of my hair, and I almost joined Mark.
That's right.
When I first got here, and never knew where a nickel was.
Well, we're still going to have a strong majority here between Chuck, Chief Donnelly, Tom.
Yep.
The ball guy majority here.
There you go.
Majority continue.
That's right. All right, so is there a motion to advertise the budget?
Motion.
Oh, we already did that. That's
We already
right.
did that,
That's right.
yes.
Right. We're too busy patting everybody on the back. All right, any questions from the public? All right, being none, let's call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, and the chair votes aye. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, John. You did a
Thank you,
fabulous
John.
job.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Awesome presentation.
All righty. Professional reports, Mr. Scott.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen of the board, the Township Manager's budget message will also be available starting tomorrow online, and it's in your packet if you want to read it. And I tried to cover the big items that we've been dealing with, not just in '23, but what we're going to be facing in '24 and in the recent past. So I only want to read one sentence from it, and I think it's telling because we talk a lot about what our obligations are, what we have to worry about, especially for the funds, and what we need to be mindful of with reserves and with looking out over the horizon past the upcoming year. And the budget asks you to do two things. It asks you to plan for 1 year, but also be aware of the subsequent years. And that second part is what could cause problems. We've all lived through them in the last few years, whether or not we were here. And so a couple of years ago in 2021, Standard & Poor's gave us a bond rating. And they threw in a comment that I thought was a little disingenuous, but they said that they took umbrage with the fact that the township didn't have any financial forecasting. This was in the spring of '21, when a lot of things had already happened. So my tagline for this is, and for my message and for our budget, is that Warminster Township must face the reality that external issues that could negatively affect both income and expenses could manifest at any time. There could be localized disasters, there could be national or global pandemics and riots and whatnot that could affect us. And we all held our breath through 21 and 22. How are we going to exit the pandemic with the revenue streams? And I think we've done okay, but I think we were also, even before I got here, the board was properly cautious about that. And while
thank
we
you,
now
Tom.
see that the Act 511 taxes, the golf course, the revenue's there, but we can't always control whether or not it's going to be there in the near future. So that's the importance of reserves, is the only thing I wanted to say about that. I have two comments from John's presentation. I just wanted to, if you'll indulge me. The first is, we talked about the receptionist. It's come up again a couple of different times. Here's what the receptionist does in this building. She tells people they're in the wrong building. That is 90% of the conversation she has. That includes people that walk in that want to file building permits, they want to get police reports, they want to pay their water and sewer bill, or they want to deliver something to the Water and Sewer Authority or the police department or Public Works. 90% of what she does, and we have she's a very nice woman. Her name is Dee. I'm sure you've all met her.
Yes.
So
Very nice
right
lady.
now, she's a temp. She's been working for Robert Half for all these months. So soon she will become a full-time Warminster Township employee. We're very pleased to have her. She's a very nice lady. And the second thing I wanted to mention was the additional funds for the MMO. We, last year, if you think about all the times we discussed OPEB, and how often we said that word in this meeting and in the back room, and
Ad nauseum.
but now, through what Steve Wiesner set up and what the board acted on and what's now being actively managed is the OPEB trust. So we the board and through Wiesner's guidance and John's guidance was able to kind of put some handles on that to grab. We're hoping that the MMO requirements for 25 will be less than 24 because we watched, the police fund lost $7 million in 2022. $7 million went out the door. And should that happen again, hopefully it won't, we have to be prepared for that. But adding the additional funds into the police pension fund for the MMO makes sense. Because if we've got it, if we've got the ability to contribute, it's probably a good idea, just like with the OPEB.
Correct.
Those are all my comments. I thank you for your indulgence.
Thanks you for bringing that storm cloud in here, Tom. I
Yes.
appreciate that. So,
Party's over.
anyhow, yeah, the sky is not falling. Don't worry about it, Tom.
He's
We're okay.
prepared for the sky to fall.
Yes. And, the other thing is that when we came in here, well, at least when Judy and I came in 2020, we knew we had to plan for the future. And, with the help of the board, the entire board gets credit for this, is that we built a staff around that had the same viewpoint or mission, if you will, Tom, that we need to don't look at next year. You have to look for the next 10 years. I mean, that's what corporations do. That's what good, well-run townships do, and that's what we're doing. So hats off to the board and everyone involved.
And we've talked about our property liability insurance, and we are actively looking at getting quotes from brokers to replace the one we've got. But the reason why we were looking at that increase is because we are pooled risk with the other townships and boroughs and authorities that are in Divot, is because two of them lost their municipal buildings during tropical storms. And there, but for the grace of whatever, goes Warminster Township. That could have been us.
Right.
And that's why and even though obviously there was insurance is involved and hoping to restore those communities and their assets, I'm sure they also ended up spending additional funds for that, which is why we want to be ready for the next thing that's coming in over the horizon.
Yes. And at some point,
And
Dee will not have to direct people to a different part of the township. She'll actually be able to direct them to a different floor or building or room number, which will be wonderful. So,
What a day that'll be.
yes, that'll be a day to celebrate. All right, well, thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
All right. And Adam is here.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Very briefly, on behalf of my father and the entire Flager family, wanted to thank the board for the beautiful flowers, for the passing of my grandmother, my father's mother, all the messages of support that the family received, and also for those that were able to attend the funeral. We very much appreciate all of that. Other than that, wanted to wish everyone a happy, healthy, and safe Thanksgiving. We had the DUI task force a resolution that you passed. As a municipal attorney as well as a personal injury lawyer, we see a lot of people that we see the bad parts of people driving under the influence. So it's okay to be intoxicated. It's not okay to drive while you're intoxicated. So please be safe and enjoy the holiday.
Great, thank you, Adam. Craig?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I gave my report a couple of weeks ago. A few updates to that. You will have a busy December meeting, as Tom mentioned. 2 or 3 land development projects, and then also, I believe we're doing the Shenandoah Woods presentation or update at least with Jessica and Judy. Might be a long night.
Extra half hour for Mark's farewell address.
Yes, don't forget, we have, and as well for Mary Ellen's as well. Mark and Mary, we need to.
Is she coming in?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes. So I'm looking forward to the Shenandoah Woods presentation.
This is the first stab at it, so we'll have.
Yes.
This is concept level.
Everyone take a breath, it'll be fine.
Yeah, we have a long way to go.
That's right.
I think, Jessica spearheading this, working with the library director and our staff, and I think there's a lot of good stuff, but this is definitely at the concept stage and just seeing if everybody agrees with where we're going and where Jessica's going, and we'll take the input and then work with Jessica's staff and the township staff and fine tune the plan, so.
Looking forward to it, Greg. Should I ask it, or just, never mind. I was going to ask Jill.
No one
I
asked me
sur-
about
I
Arby's.
surprised her
I was
last
waiting
time.
for the Arby's question.
Yeah, Arby's, yeah.
I actually we have an update, right?
Oh, yeah, well, let's
Mr.
hear
Scott?
it, because I'm sure
I thought
inquiring
Mr. Scott
minds
was
want to
gonna
know.
give it.
I was gonna ask, but go ahead.
Let's hear it.
They did have an issue with electrical transformer. That was the issue. L&I department updated Mr. Scott and myself and the rest of the staff. So the email we got last week is they're starting construction in 1 to 2 weeks here. So,
Right.
I don't know if, again, I don't get the permits. L&I takes care of that, but they did have an issue with electrical transformer.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I think that's it, except for the supervisor. No, we have one more public comment.
Johnny Briolas?
Where's John at? Oh, he's not here tonight.
Absent.
All
Yeah,
right,
absent.
yeah, he missed it again. John, that's 2. That's all you get for the year.
Not going to get best supporting actor that way.
All right, well, anyway, I want to thank our staff, our police officers, our firemen, our volunteer firemen, for doing a great job again this year, and we've put together what I think has become a really good team, and we're going to continue to improve on that theme. And in the meantime, I want everyone to have a really safe Thanksgiving, enjoy the holiday with your family and friends, and again, to Mark's point, the chief doesn't want to have any overnight visitors. So Uber, do whatever you have to do, and enjoy yourself. Just don't drink and drive. Thank you. Kath?
Great presentation, John. Looking forward to going over that budget, and I really like that you hit all the highlights and all the funds and explained all of them for the benefit of the public to know exactly, what each one was for. So also, would like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I want to let you know, it is my favorite holiday of the year. No commercialism. It's just a time to get together with friends and family and enjoy and be grateful for what you have in life. Be grateful for your children, for your grandchildren, for your mom, for your dad, for your brothers, your sisters, your friends. It's just a time to be grateful for the things that we have in life. And so I want to wish everyone a happy and safe Thanksgiving. That's it.
Thanks, Kath.
You're welcome.
I'd like to say the same. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Please be careful Wednesday night, and I agree with you. It's my favorite holiday as well. Thoroughly enjoy it.
Yep.
And that's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Janice?
I'd like to follow up with that. Happy Thanksgiving. I also want you to kind of check in on your shut-ins. We have a lot of senior adults in our community who may not have family that, stop by or whatever. So check in on them and think about inviting them to your Thanksgiving table if you're so inclined.
Thanks, Janice. Judy?
And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And please remember, if you have nothing to do on the long weekend, we have a wonderful library over there. And it's really stocked with language classes, writing classes, open mic, adult programs, children's programs. The library has changed a lot in the last 2 years since Peter Leahy has been our director. And I think you'll all find it a wonderful community place to be. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Judy. All right, motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thanks. Good night, everyone.
All right.